It's 4:30 a.m. in Wisconsin, and the temperature has just dropped to negative 15 degrees Fahrenheit. Wind chills are pushing negative 40. A polar vortex has descended across the upper Midwest, bringing the kind of cold that can kill exposed skin in minutes. But inside a massive dairy barn in Marathon County, 2,000 Holstein cows are being prepped for their morning milking. The operation doesn't stop. It can't stop. These animals produce milk on a biological schedule that doesn't care about weather emergencies or wind chill warnings. This is the reality of extreme winter dairy operations in America, a high-stakes battle between industrial agriculture and some of the most punishing weather on Earth. And right now, as record-breaking cold grips much of the United States, dairy farmers are fighting to keep their operations running and their animals alive. The current winter crisis. The winter of 2025 has brought some of the most severe weather events in recent American history. Multiple Arctic blasts have pushed temperatures across the northern plains, upper Midwest, and parts of the Northeast to dangerous extremes. In January 2025, cities like Minneapolis saw temperatures plunge to negative 25 degrees, with wind chills reaching negative 50. Fargo, North Dakota recorded negative 32 degrees. Even states not typically known for extreme cold, like Kansas and Missouri, experience single-digit temperatures and dangerous ice storms. This isn't just uncomfortable weather. This is life-threatening cold that challenges every aspect of dairy farming, from keeping water from freezing, to preventing frostbite on cattle, to ensuring milk trucks can actually reach remote farms. And America's dairy industry operates primarily in exactly these regions. Wisconsin, the nation's second-largest dairy state, produces over 30 billion pounds of milk annually. New York, Minnesota, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, all cold-weather states, round out the top dairy producers. When Arctic weather hits, it hits America's milk supply directly. The biological reality of dairy cattle. Here's what most people don't understand. A lactating dairy cow is a biological furnace operating at maximum capacity. A high-producing Holstein, the black and white cows you picture when you think dairy cow, can produce 70 to 100 pounds of milk per day. Some exceptional animals produce even more. This level of production requires massive caloric intake and generates significant body heat. An adult dairy cow weighs between 1,200 and 1,500 pounds and has a resting body temperature of about 101.5 degrees Fahrenheit. They're naturally adapted to handle cold better than heat. Their thick hide, winter coat, and high metabolic rate mean they can actually tolerate temperatures well below freezing. But there are limits. And recent temperature extremes are pushing cattle beyond their thermal comfort zone into dangerous territory. Calves are the most vulnerable. Newborn calves have minimal body fat and their thermoregulation systems aren't fully developed. Below 20 degrees Fahrenheit, calves begin experiencing cold stress. Below zero, they're in serious danger without intervention. Adult cows can handle cold down to about 20 degrees without significant stress, provided they're dry, out of the wind, and have adequate nutrition. But when temperatures plunge to negative 20 or negative 30, especially with wind, even mature cattle face hypothermia risks. Frostbite becomes a concern on extremities, ears, tails, and most critically, teats. A frostbitten teat can mean permanent damage to a quarter of the udder, reducing that cow's milk production for life or ending her productive career entirely. Protecting the herd. Modern dairy operations in cold climates have developed sophisticated strategies to protect their herds during extreme weather. Barn design is the first line of defense. While you might imagine dairy cows spending winter in heated barns, that's actually not how it works for most operations. Heating a barn housing hundreds or thousands of cattle would be prohibitively expensive and potentially dangerous. Too much heat combined with moisture from the animals creates respiratory problems. Instead, modern cold-weather dairy barns focus on three priorities: blocking wind, managing ventilation, and preventing moisture buildup. A typical Wisconsin dairy barn uses what's called a naturally ventilated design. The barn has solid walls on three sides to block prevailing winds, with the fourth side featuring adjustable curtains that can be lowered during extreme cold. The roof is insulated and designed to allow moisture to escape without creating drafts at cow level. Bedding becomes critical in extreme cold. Most modern operations use sand or specially designed mattresses in the cow's resting areas. During Arctic weather, farmers add deep straw bedding, sometimes 12 to 18 inches deep, to provide insulation from the frozen ground. Cows generate significant body heat while lying down, and proper bedding traps this heat, creating a warm microenvironment. Calf housing requires more intensive protection. Newborn calves typically spend their first weeks in individual hutches, essentially small, igloo-like structures. During extreme cold, farmers deploy multiple strategies: extra bedding, insulated calf jackets that fit like winter coats, and sometimes heat lamps positioned safely to provide warmth without fire risk. Nutrition becomes a critical cold weather tool. When temperatures drop, a cow's energy requirements increase dramatically. They're burning calories just to maintain body temperature. Farmers adjust rations to increase caloric density, often adding extra fat and increasing feed quantities by 20 to 30% during cold snaps. The water challenge. A lactating dairy cow drinks 30 to 50 gallons of water per day. In extreme cold, providing that water becomes an engineering challenge. Water freezes at 32 degrees Fahrenheit. When ambient temperatures are -20, any exposed water freezes solid within hours, sometimes minutes. And cows won't drink ice. Every modern dairy barn in cold climates uses heated water systems. The most common design circulates warm water continuously through the drinking troughs, preventing freeze-up. This requires significant electricity. During a polar vortex, a large dairy operation might spend thousands of dollars weekly just keeping water systems operational. Some operations use geothermal systems, tapping into the Earth's constant underground temperature to preheat water. Others use propane-powered heating systems as backup when electricity fails. And power failures are a constant threat during extreme weather. Ice storms can down power lines. Extreme cold can cause grid failures. Most commercial dairy operations maintain backup generators, but these have limits. A generator large enough to power an entire dairy operation, milking equipment, water heaters, ventilation fans, milk cooling systems, costs $50,000 to $100,000 and requires regular maintenance. Milking in the cold. The milking process itself presents unique challenges in extreme weather. A modern commercial dairy operates on a precise schedule. Most farms milk twice daily, once in the early morning, once in the evening. Some high-production operations milk 3 times daily. This schedule is biologically driven, milk production is continuous, and cows need to be relieved of milk regularly to prevent mastitis, a painful and potentially dangerous udder infection. The milking parlor, the specialized facility where milking happens, must maintain temperatures above freezing to protect equipment and ensure milk quality. Most parlors maintain temperatures between 40 and 50 degrees during winter, using the cow's body heat supplemented by minimal heating systems. Before a cow can be milked, her teats must be cleaned and sanitized. This involves applying warm water and disinfectant solutions. In extreme cold, farmers must work quickly. Wet teats exposed to -20-degree air can develop frostbite in minutes. The modern milking process is highly mechanized. Most commercial operations use either parallel parlors or rotary parlors. In a parallel parlor, cows stand side by side on raised platforms while workers move between them, attaching milking units. A rotary parlor works like a slow-moving carousel. Cows step onto a rotating platform, and workers attach milking units as they rotate past, with the entire milking process completed in one rotation. A typical high-speed rotary parlor can milk 400 cows per hour. The largest operations in Wisconsin and New York milk 2,000 to 5,000 cows per session, requiring 3 to 8 hours of continuous operation. The milk flows through stainless steel pipes directly into refrigerated storage tanks. This is critical. Raw milk must be cooled to below 40 degrees Fahrenheit within hours of milking to prevent bacterial growth. The cooling systems run continuously, and their failure during extreme weather can result in tens of thousands of dollars of milk being dumped. Industrial-scale milk storage. Once milk leaves the cow, it enters a sophisticated cold chain system designed to maintain quality and safety. A modern dairy farm's bulk tank holds anywhere from 3,000 gallons for a smaller operation to 20,000 gallons or more for large commercial dairies. These are precision-engineered stainless steel vessels with built-in refrigeration systems that maintain milk at 36 to 38 degrees Fahrenheit. The tanks use agitators, mechanical paddles that gently stir the milk every few hours to prevent cream separation and maintain consistency. Temperature monitoring is constant, with automated systems that alert farmers immediately if temperatures drift above safe levels. During extreme cold, these systems face counterintuitive challenges. While the ambient air temperature is well below freezing, the refrigeration systems must still work to remove heat from the milk. Remember, milk comes from a cow at 101 degrees and must be cooled to 38 degrees. The refrigeration compressors work harder in extreme cold because the lubricants thicken and components contract. Power consumption spikes during extreme weather events. A large dairy operation might use 15,000 to 25,000 kilowatt-hours of electricity per month under normal conditions. During a polar vortex, that can increase by 40% or more. The Tanker Pickup Challenge. Every dairy farm depends on regular milk pickup by specialized tanker trucks. In normal conditions, this happens every 24 to 48 hours. During extreme weather, this routine becomes a logistical nightmare. Milk tankers are highly specialized vehicles. A typical dairy tanker holds 6,000 to 7,000 gallons of milk and weighs over 70,000 pounds when full. They're insulated but not refrigerated. The milk's own cold temperature and the insulated tank keep it safe during transport, which normally takes only a few hours from farm to processing plant. But during the recent Arctic outbreaks, rural roads across dairy country became impassable. Ice storms created road conditions where even chains and experienced drivers couldn't safely operate. Some Wisconsin farms went 3 or 4 days without pickup during the worst of the January 2025 weather. This creates an impossible situation. The cows continue producing milk. The bulk tank fills. And if the tanker can't get through, farmers face a heartbreaking decision. Dump the milk or stop milking? Stopping milking isn't really an option. Skipping even one milking can cause mastitis and reduce a cow's production for weeks. So, farmers dump milk, pouring thousands of gallons of perfectly good product down the drain because there's no way to store it or transport it. During the January 2025 cold snap, Wisconsin dairy farmers dumped an estimated 2 million pounds of milk over a 5-day period. At current prices of around $20 per hundredweight, that represents roughly $400,000 in lost revenue, and that's just one state during one weather event. Tanker drivers themselves face significant danger. These routes often traverse remote rural roads. A breakdown during -30-degree weather can be life-threatening. Most dairy haulers now carry extreme cold survival gear, sleeping bags rated to -40, emergency food supplies, and satellite communication devices. The economic pressure. Extreme weather compounds the already thin margins in dairy farming. The average dairy farmer receives about $18 to $22 per hundredweight of milk, which is 100 pounds, roughly 11.6 gallons. The cost of production, feed, labor, veterinary care, equipment maintenance, utilities, typically runs $16 to $20 per hundredweight. During extreme weather, production costs spike while revenue remains flat. Feed costs increase because cows need more calories. Electricity bills double or triple from running heaters and backup systems. Labor costs rise because every task takes longer in extreme cold and may require additional workers for safety. Equipment failures increase dramatically. Metal becomes brittle in extreme cold. Hydraulic systems fail. Plastic components shatter. A tractor that starts reliably at 20 degrees might not turn over at -20 without extensive cold weather preparations. Veterinary costs rise because cold stress makes cattle more susceptible to respiratory infections and other illnesses. A sick cow produces less milk and may require expensive treatment. And if roads become impassable and milk must be dumped, that's total loss. Unlike crop farmers who can at least hope for insurance payouts after weather disasters, dumped milk is just gone. The human element. Behind every dairy operation are people working in conditions most Americans can't imagine. Dairy farming is a 365 days per year commitment. Cows don't take holidays and they don't care about weather. During the recent Arctic outbreak, dairy farmers across the upper Midwest worked in conditions where the National Weather Service was telling people to stay indoors, except for absolute emergencies. A typical day during extreme cold starts at 3:30 or 4 o'clock a.m. The farmer dresses in layers: thermal underwear, insulated coveralls, heavy boots, insulated gloves, and a face mask to prevent frostbite. They walk to the barn in darkness, their breath forming ice crystals in the air. The work is physically demanding: moving feed, checking cattle, cleaning equipment, handling milking operations. All of this continues in the cold. Even in the relatively protected environment of the barn, temperatures during a polar vortex might be in the teens or single digits. Many dairy operations are family affairs. The farmer, their spouse, adult children, maybe a few hired workers. During extreme weather, everyone works extended hours. Someone needs to check newborn calves every few hours to ensure they're not suffering cold stress. Water systems need constant monitoring to catch freeze-ups before they become catastrophic. Sleep becomes scarce.
The worry is constant. Are the heaters working? Is the backup generator ready if power fails? Are the youngest calves warm enough? Will the milk truck make it through tomorrow? Climate scientists project that extreme weather events, including severe Arctic outbreaks, will become more frequent and more intense. This creates a planning challenge for dairy operations in traditional cold weather regions.
Some farmers are investing in more substantial infrastructure. Fully enclosed barns with better insulation, more robust heating systems, larger backup generators, increased bulk tank capacity to handle longer periods between pickups. Others are considering whether dairy farming in extreme cold climates remains economically viable. Some Wisconsin and Minnesota farmers have already relocated operations to more temperate regions, though this comes with its own challenges and costs. Technology offers some solutions. Advanced monitoring systems can now track individual cow health metrics, alert farmers to problems before they become critical, and optimize feed and water systems automatically. But technology has a cost, and many family dairy operations struggle to afford these upgrades. The dairy industry produces 223 billion pounds of milk annually in the United States. About half of that comes from regions that regularly experience extreme winter weather. The milk in your refrigerator, the cheese on your pizza, the butter on your toast. There's a good chance it came from cows living through the kind of cold that most Americans experience only briefly between their heated homes and heated cars. Behind that simple gallon of milk is an extraordinary logistical achievement. Keeping thousands of 1,500-pound animals healthy and productive in sub-zero temperatures, maintaining precise temperature controls for milk storage, and coordinating pickup and delivery, even when roads are barely passable. The recent Arctic outbreaks have shown both the resilience and the vulnerability of this system. Dairy farmers have proven repeatedly that they can maintain operations through almost any weather, but the economic and physical toll of extreme weather is real, and it's increasing. Next time you pour milk in your coffee during a winter cold snap, take a moment to think about the people who made that possible. The farmers who were up at 4 a.m. in negative 20-degree cold, the tanker drivers who navigated icy roads, the entire chain of people who kept the system running when staying inside would have been so much easier. That's the reality of extreme winter dairy operations in America. It's not glamorous, it's often barely profitable, but it's essential, it's ongoing, and it's happening right now, even as you watch this. If this look inside America's winter dairy operations opened your eyes to a world you never knew existed, hit that subscribe button right now. We're going deep into the systems that keep America running, from the emergency rooms handling frostbite cases during polar vortexes, to how snowplow operations work in states that get 20 feet of snow annually. Smash that like button. It helps us reach more people who want to understand the real stories behind everyday products. And drop a comment. Did you have any idea dairy farming in extreme cold was this intense? Have you experienced extreme winter weather yourself? Your stories help build this community. New documentary every week, diving into the hidden operations that make modern life possible. Don't miss the next one.